And welcome to Overtime on the Ice. I'm Jenna Harner, joined by Phil Bourque and Dejan Kovacevic. Guys, goaltending coming into this series was a huge topic of discussion. Obviously, the Penguins find out they're not going to be with Tristan Jarry. It's going to be Casey DeSmith. And then now the new news is Casey DeSmith out for the remainder of the playoffs after having that core muscle surgery. So Louis Domingue, spicy pork and broccoli, the guy they go to, completely cold in that second overtime. He helps the Penguins to that Game 1 victory. Game 2, yes, they lost 5-2, but you can look at some of those goals. Two really good deflections, Dane, you talked about it. Two off Mike Matheson, and then a really good goal from Frank Vatrano, who's just haunted the Penguins. But then on the other side, Igor Shesterkin, who coming in, everyone said, this is the guy. He's the Vezina front runner. And the Penguins have found some points of weakness. I just want to start with a little bit of a comparison here between the two guys. What have you seen, starting with Domingue, because him coming in the way he did in Game 1, I mean, that is just unheard of in so many different ways.
You know what, Phil, I want to start this because I go back to having covered Johann Hedberg's rise with the Penguins, and by rise I mean the handful of weeks that he had when
Moose.
Eddie Johnston recommended him to the organization. He was playing for the Manitoba Moose, which is how he got the nickname. Came down, everyone got the foam antlers, and everyone fell in love with Moose and the chance and everything else, and he beat Dominik Hasek, which was not supposed to happen. Moose, and he would tell you this to this day, in that time was the greatest handful of months of his life. He felt like he had nothing to lose. He had no pressure. No one thought he should even be out there. Jenna, I have a feeling that you've been around Louis. You know he's a fun-loving guy. He's got the cooking channel on YouTube and everything. Louis is going to be looking at this like, this is awesome, man. I just won a triple overtime game in Madison Square Garden, and now they're chanting my name in Pittsburgh. I'm just going to go out here and let it all fly. Big guy. He can also play the position a little bit. I don't mean to make him sound like a novelty.
No, absolutely. And Bourque, I mean, you guys were both at this game, both games, seeing the reaction, just seeing how the fans get behind this guy. And it wasn't like, again, yes, they lost 5-2 in Game 2, but it wasn't like it was Domingue having all these blunders, making his first start with the Penguins in the playoffs.
Before I get technical on you, I'm glad you brought up the Moose, but I'm also going to bring up Frankie P, man. Frankie Pietrangelo in 91.
Yep.
Played 5 games, went 4-1, and then, of course, you know, Mr. Game 1, Jeff Zadkov. So there is a history here in Penguin land of a goaltender coming out of nowhere and helping us get through some troubled times.
Ken Reggett's another one.
And Kenny Reggett, good point, too. As far as Louis, technically he's sound. He's a big goaltender. He's a confident goaltender. And that confidence and that personality that he adds, it permeates throughout the locker room. And he's pretty good at handling the puck, too. I want to talk a second about Igor Shesterkin, because you're right. Everybody just wants to hand him the Vezina trophy. And he's worthy. He's had a great regular season. But let me tell you, I see some cracks in his armor. Number one, his flexibility is off the charts. The way he's able to unhinge his hips in the butterfly position, the only goalie I can think of that does that, Dejan, is Andre Vasilevskiy. I
was going to say it's Vasilevskiy.
It's freakish the way he's able to do that. But what I would say to the Penguins, you got to go upstairs, baby. He's taking away the bottom half of the net. That is his strength. Go upstairs, you can beat him up top. Number 2, pass off the pad. He's given up a lot of rebounds, bad angle shots into his feet. He's been able to burp them up. Listen, he's got warts. He's got cracks. Penguins need to exploit them.
And, oh, go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was just going to say, Jenna, and to literally throw this back to you, guess which lines should be really good at scoring goals off passes off the pads?
Yeah, the third and fourth line guys. Yes, keep it simple, baby.
See, transitions here.
I love it. You're making my job way too easy here. The top line, no doubt, has been phenomenal. They have scored basically all of the goals other than Evgeny Malkin's goal, the triple overtime winner. Secondary scoring, we're talking about it again. It's plaguing this team again. I feel like I'm having some deja vu in that sense. Guys, Bourque, you talk about keeping it simple. Yeah. Is that basically just how you have to solve these issues and solve them quickly here?
I feel like I had some bad spicy pork and broccoli right now. Just I'm getting a little bit verklempt in here. No, here we are. We're talking about this again. It pains me to talk about this. There's just so many guys, not only in the regular season, but now here we go in the playoffs. listen, Sid and Jake and Rusty and Gino getting that triple overtime goal. Yeah, their backpacks are full, guys. You're all climbing up the mountain, but their backpack is way heavier than yours. You got to chip in. You want to win the playoffs? Do you want to be one and done again? Do you want to do the woulda, coulda, shoulda? These guys, they're good hockey players. We're talking about Jeff Carter, Evan Rodriguez, Teddy Bluger. It's too long, man. Brock McGinn, you've gone too long with having one goal in 37, 2 goals in 41 games. It's got to happen, man. You got to find a way. Get your nose dirty, get to the net, make it happen because, man, we need you to score goals.
Yeah, and the Penguins need a lot, I think, in particular from Jeff Carter, who's just been just awful all over the rink. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if there's something wrong with him. He's taking these wide turns everywhere. But I'll tell you what, there's a couple other guys, when we're talking about secondary scoring here, depending on how you interpret that term, I have liked, and I have not said this a lot this year, Kasperi Kapanen's game. He has registered as many shots on goal as anyone on the Penguins, and a lot of them, Phil, I'll bet you agree with me here, have been really good hockey shots.
Yeah. When somebody talks about quality chances, I think he's kind of pumping some guys up. But when it comes to Kasperi Kapanen, I think he's bang on.
I mean, Shesterkin has robbed Kapanen as much as he has anyone else. That is going to change if those chances keep coming like that.
Those, I agree with you.
And I'm going to put Heinen in an almost there category as well. I've really liked his game. He's taking shots. And something else, Phil, just to dovetail off what you said about Shesterkin, there have been 6 pipes hit behind him. One of them was Drew O'Connor shooting from across the Hudson River on a wrist shot from above the right circle. Remember that in Game 2?
Through the defenseman's legs, yep.
And listen, this player is great. He's going to win the Vezina. He's going to get votes for the Hart. But he's beatable. And the Penguins need to do one thing above all else, and that goes for all lines, is just keep shooting. Don't let him get in your head or whatever Brian Rust was thinking when he shot wide on the breakaway. You know what I'm talking about, Jenna?
Yeah. I just look at, too, the over 100 shot attempts. And, yes, you're going to get lots of chances when you're playing 3 overtimes. But to do that, when they haven't been able to do that against this team in the regular season, we always talk about it. You can look at the regular season, but at the end of the day, you throw the records out. The postseason, a whole new animal. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you for joining us on Overtime on the Ice.